Do you feel like people are maybe joining your email list or following you on social media, but then nothing really happens? Like you're putting in all this effort, showing up consistently, creating content, and yet your audience isn't moving any closer to working with you. Well, the answer to this may lie in the fact that you're missing an important stage of the client journey, the nurture stage. So, in today's episode, I'll cover how you can use your content to truly nurture your audience so that they'll feel seen, heard, supported, and ready to take the next step with you. We'll talk about the types of content that actually build trust, the common mistakes that will keep your audience from engaging, and simple ways to make nurturing feel a natural, human, and maybe even a little bit fun. Welcome to the Powerful Content Podcast, your go-to source for content creation, strategy, and business inspiration. I'm your host, Mel Daniels, content strategist, coach, and speaker, empowering women across the globe to grow their business with powerful content that connects, nurtures, and converts. So, if you're ready to create standout content that gets you noticed and remembered, or build an aligned audience who love you and are ready to buy from you, you're in the right place. I believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. Listen in for genuine and insightful chats with guests, as well as practical tools and strategies from me. It's so lovely to have you here. Let's dive into the show. I acknowledge the Wongal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of the country that I am recording from today. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waters. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nation people listening today. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 188 of the Powerful Content Podcast. Now, this is the fourth episode in the Client Journey mini-series, so go back and start from episode 185 if you've missed the first three. Now, in our last episodes, we've talked about connecting with your audience and then inviting them to subscribe with something meaningful. So today we're diving into the nurture stage, and this is a place where we go beyond just visibility and start deepening the relationship with our ideal client, really helping your subscribers feel seen, supported, and ready to take the next step with you. So last week, something happened that made me really think about nurturing and how we show up for people. My beautiful son, who is in his late teens, went to get his hair cut. And now he used to, when he was much younger, get advice from me. I used to take him to the barber. I used to book the appointments, but I haven't done that in a while for him now. So he went to the barber last week and chopped off his mullet, which is really long hair at the back and really long hair at the front and short down the sides if you're not quite sure what a mullet is. And he looks so much younger. And I really like it. And I told him that. And his response was, "Mum, you like it because you think it makes me look like your little boy again. I like it because it suits me." And I had to laugh because it was so true. But at the essence of it, that's exactly what nurturing is all about. When we nurture our audience with our content, we're not telling them what to do or pushing them to follow a particular path we think is best. We're giving them the guidance, the support, the trust, and letting them make the decisions that are right for them. We're showing up in a way that helps them feel safe, feel seen, feel understood, so that they can then take the next step on their own, really confident and ready to take that step. This means that they end up working with you from a place of hope and possibilities rather than desperation. And so, just like my son, who now makes choices for himself all the time now, not just about his haircut, you too can make others feel supported on their own journey. And the result is that you become the guide or the expert rather than the dictator or the controller. And really, that's a big difference in my eyes. So, the nurture stage of the client journey is about being there, consistently showing up in a way that matters to your audience, not about posting more. It's about making every touch point with your content really count. Now, nurture content is seen as the bridge between connection and conversion. It's the type of content that really deepens a relationship, builds the trust, and reminds your audience why they're drawn to you in the first place. It's not about selling to them or impressing them. It's about caring. It's about the regular email that arrives in their inbox just at the right moment. It's the story that you share on social media that makes your audience feel seen. Or it's the podcast episode or blog post that really gently shifts their perspective on your area of expertise. It's about being present. It's about being present consistently, compassionately, and intentionally. And it's where your audience begins to feel like they actually know you, not just your business and what you do. So, for you, as my beautiful heart led entrepreneur, nurture content matters deeply because your business, I know, is not built on the algorithms or the transactions, it's built on the relationships. So, this is where your strength is. You genuinely care. You want to attract clients who feel aligned with your values and your energy. And that only happens when you take the time to nurture. So, nurture content helps you to firstly build trust. So, when you show up consistently with that valuable, thoughtful content at the right time, your audience feels safe investing their time, consuming that content, and eventually their money with working with you. It helps you to deepen that connection that you established in that first stage of the client journey. It transforms your content marketing from a one-way broadcasting from the stage type situation into a two-way relationship. We can actually have a conversation. It helps you stay top of mind. Those gentle reminders of your presence really help people remember you when they're ready to take that next step. And it helps guide them forward. It naturally leads your audience to working with you. And once again, it's not through pressure or icky sales tactics, but it's through resonance and readiness. It's really important to note here that nurturing isn't about creating and publishing more content. It's creating content that matters, that aligns with your audience's journey with you and really respects their time because we're all low on time. Now, I think that probably most of you have heard the term know, like, and trust when it comes to marketing. So people buy from those that they trust and feel a connection with. So when you're consistently providing valuable information, education, insights, you're helping to reduce that uncertainty and create the readiness within your audience to buy from you in the future. Nurturing your audience really leans into that concept of trust so that it reduces the friction when subscribers are actually ready to buy from you. And it's exactly why I've been encouraging my current subscribers. And if you're not on my email list, then head on down to the show notes and find a way that you can join me on my email list. But I've been encouraging my current subscribers to start creating a mini client journey with their content now if they're thinking about participating in Black Friday sales. So as at the date of release of this podcast, it's around about 4 or 5 weeks until Black Friday. So instead of just bringing an offer on your audience on the day, start talking about it now. Start talking about the challenges it addresses without actually selling it, how it fits into your dreams and hopes for your ideal client, and what's so unique about your methodology. And so when it comes to Black Friday, instead of just surprising your audience with this random offer, they are already warm and they already understand more about you and have a deeper connection with you and are more ready to buy because they trust you. So when you nurture consistently, your audience doesn't just know you exist, they know you care. And this is really what it's all about, caring, human relationships. They feel supported, and when the time is right, working with you just becomes that natural step for them. So, having said all of this about nurture content, I think that there are still some common mistakes that happen when you're creating content for this stage of the client journey. And one of the biggest pitfalls is that we can forget that these are real people with real needs, real emotions. So, if you show up to sell or disappear for weeks on time, you lose that trust that you've already started to build. And once again, this is not your fault. We have been taught that this is the way to do content marketing. So please lean into your strengths here. Lean into your ability to create and deepen relationships with people. But having said that, the three most common mistakes at this stage are around being generic, being inconsistent, and promoting too soon. So let's talk about generic content first. A really common trap is creating content for everyone on your list or your audience without considering where they are in the journey with you. Not everyone is at the same place. Someone might be discovering you, others might be exploring your offers, and some are ready to buy. When your content is really generic and across the board all the time, it doesn't resonate and your audience doesn't feel seen. But when we create content that speaks directly to where people are, it feels personal, right? It builds trust, it moves them forward. Nurture email sequences are the perfect opportunity to capitalize on this idea as everyone in that audience subsegment has just been through the subscribe stage by downloading your lead magnet. So you can be very, very specific here with the content that you serve them. The second thing is inconsistency. So showing up inconsistently, whether through your email, social media, or other channels, whatever content you use in your ecosystem, really breaks the sense of relationship. Your audience forgets you, and the trust that you've built can actually start to fade. So, nurturing is about a consistent presence, however that looks like for you right now with your current time, energy, and resources, but not sporadic bursts. The third mistake that I see is promoting too soon. So many content experts out there teach the concept of content that converts. They encourage you to jump straight into offers, thinking it will drive sales with a formula driven piece of content. But if you haven't established value or trust first, this comes across as pushy, and I know that you don't want to do this. As a heart led entrepreneur, you naturally prioritize relationships, so do this. Let your nurture content take time to deepen those relationships before moving toward conversion. It can be so tempting, I know, to jump straight into the offer. When we have an idea, we want to get it out into the world straight away and we want to start talking about it and we want to sell it. And I know that you're excited about what someone can achieve by working with you, but if someone hasn't had that chance to get to know you or see your value, it can really feel too much too soon for them. So nurturing is about creating that rhythm of support and insight so that when you do share an offer, it's welcomed, not resisted. So remember, your goal here is presence, consistency, and value. Show up for your subscribers in a way that feels human and supportive, and most importantly, naturally you. So now you know why you need to nurture and how to avoid the common mistakes. And the next question is, how do you nurture effectively? Well, first you need to know that it can be done through all different types of content within your ecosystem. So that's email sequences, consistent or regular emails, social media, core content. The sky is the limit. So nurturing your audience is about being intentional and really human across your entire ecosystem. So let's just talk about some of these separately. First of all, email sequences. So a great way to nurture your audience here is set up a series of emails that deliver the value, the insights, and guidance over a specified period of time. These should be fairly predictable. They should be helpful, aligned with your audience's needs. And if you need help with this, I have a guide that you can work through inside the content effect to determine what each of your emails should actually cover. The second type of content is those regular or consistent emails. So beyond the email sequences, really show up in a way that's sustainable for you, whether that's weekly, fortnightly, monthly. Consistency builds trust and familiarity, especially in the inbox where someone wants to know more about you and your offers. Now, moving on to core content. So that's your blogs, podcasts, or videos. Leverage these as cornerstone content that addresses key challenges, provides inspirations, or offers solutions. And always point back to these cornerstone pieces of content wherever you can. Reimagine then this content across your other channels, and this will help maximize your reach and your impact. And the key here is integration. Each piece of content should support each of the others, which then reinforces your expertise and your commitment to your ideal client's journey. And the last type of content is social media. So you can use so many different types of posts to reinforce the same message that you've covered in your core content and your emails. Nurture content for socials is easy to cover off when you know how to reimagine your core content. And once again, this is something that we do inside of the content effect. So really think of nurturing as a conversation that you have over time. You're not just talking at people, you're guiding them, inspiring them, answering their questions, and showing them that you understand their journey. So when you're thinking about creating nurture content, I want you to think about three main things. I want you to think about your rhythm, your content mix, and reimagining your content. So decide firstly, and I've said this so many times already throughout this episode, decide on a consistency that's sustainable for you and doesn't overwhelm you. And you can go back to episode 167 to find out more about how you can do this with the idea or the concept of minimum viable content. The second thing is the content mix. Content that nurtures can be educational, it can be inspirational, or it can be practical. So utilize all of these different angles for your nurture content. And the third thing is reimagination. So using the same piece of content across emails, social posts, or short videos to maximize your reach or impact. The same message said in different ways and different formats creates the trust that's needed before someone actually purchases from you. Okay, so we're at that part of the episode where you get a moment to look inward to bring the content in today's episode back to you. Everyone listening is different, so it's really important that you have the opportunity to grow personally and apply what you've learnt in a reflective way today. So think about these questions now, or you can come back and journal on them later. The first question is, what would showing up consistently for my email subscribers look like for me? The second question is, am I leading with value before asking for action or payment? And number 3 is, when I look at my content, does it feel personal and intentional, or am I relying on generic messages that could go to anyone? Okay, so to wrap up today's episode, nurturing does not have to be complicated. It is simply about being consistent, intentional, and human. Show up for your audience in a way that builds the trust with them, and the relationships, results, and yes, even the sales will follow. If you want more support on creating content that nurtures and converts, then join us inside the Content Effect, where you'll find all the tools, training, and community to make it so much easier. Talk soon. Thanks so much for listening. That's it for another week. To get more powerful content in your life, make sure you're following along on socials. My handle is @meldbusiness. And just in case you're wondering, the groovy music for this podcast was created by Just Here on SoundCloud. I'd also be super grateful if you took a moment to rate and review this podcast so more amazing women like you can experience the power of content. And if you're like, hell Mel, stop talking, I'm ready to work with you now, here's how we can work some powerful content magic together. Firstly, come and join the Content Effect, my membership inspiring women with service-based businesses to ditch the content chaos and start creating stand-out content that gets you noticed and makes sales. You can join us by using the link in the show notes or just Google the Content Effect. The second way we can work together is via my one-on-one packages. We can create a sustainable content strategy or start to build out your client journey. It's up to you. Hop on over to meldbusinessservices.com.au/services to find out more. Until next time, have a beautiful week and embrace the power of your content.